All right, I am live with the fourth stream, day 3 of building an AI app for the Nvidia Generative AI Agents Developer Contest. All right, so my goal here with the intro is to make it super short because I don't want to be like overly repetitive and long every time I start a stream. So, as a recap, what I am doing, I am building an AI application to win the Nvidia Generative AI Agents Developer Contest. All you have to do for this competition is build an AI application using NVIDIA and LangChain technologies. And that's what I'm doing. I'm going to revolutionize the personal training industry by building an AI application that helps personal trainers create workouts for their clients for a week at a time. So I'm not going to get into the weeds of what exactly it looks like here because I want to have a short intro, but that is what I'm doing. And the reason that I'm streaming this, even though who knows how many people will watch, probably zero most of the time, doesn't matter to me because really the important thing for me is just to document my journey as I'm developing this and gain some experience with streaming and content in general because I want to build that soft skill along with all the hard skills of software development and AI that I am developing through doing this. So that's what's going on. All right, so for today, I want to actually get started on the front end for my application. I've spent so much time getting the back end set up with creating the AI agents with LangGraph, which is an extension of LangChain, and using the NVIDIA NIMs for my access to the Meta Llama model, where I'm doing all my LLM queries. Super cool stuff. Now I need to make a front end for it. However, there was a couple of things I wanted to get set up on the back end first before I move into actually going to the front end code, because there's a couple of things I need to do to actually make it work well with the front end. So I'm going to spend a little bit of time doing that. So it's kind of working for the front end because it's making it work well with the front end. And then I'll get into some actual front end code. Okay, so let me pull up what I got here. So first of all, I have the client, just super simple script that acts as the client for my remote runnable. So I spent a lot of time getting things set up with LangServe as well to actually host my AI application as a simple API endpoint, which is super cool. I've really enjoyed doing that. So now there's two things I have to do that I ended the last stream with. The first thing is I have to make it so that my client properly knows when to exit this infinite loop of um, generating workouts for each day for the week. So that's the first thing. The second thing I need to do is I need to make the feedback work in the middle of generating workouts. So it generates the workout for the first day, then it gets the feedback from the personal trainer, and then brings that in to the next execution of the runnable to revise the workout. And right now, that isn't really working because if I give an input here, it actually crashes LangServe and it tries to restart the graph. It seems like LangGraph isn't created in a way where when you have an interrupt, so like right here, if I go to the bottom where I'm compiling my graph, um, where are you at? Yeah, like I interrupt after it generates a workout. It seems like in order to get it to continue right where it left off in the interrupt, you need to give the input of none. And so I need a different way of actually updating the state of the graph. And I'm going to do that through a Firestore database. So it's going to generate the workout, and it's going to put that in a Firestore database as a document. I'll pull that in my client in between executions of my LangServe runnable, and then when it goes to revise the workout, when I execute the runnable a second time in this loop, it'll pull the workout from Firestore. So it's kind of like a third party managing the state of just the workout. All the other state is still managed within the graph. So that is my plan there. So the first thing I'm going to do is the first problem that I mentioned because it's simpler. I'm going to make it obvious for my client when the execution of the graph is done on the server. So the way I'm going to do that is in the runnable here, where it prints, let's see, route to, where it prints the results. I'm going to have it update the state and set, I'm going to have just like a little thing that says done is true. So I'll just say done, whether or not all workouts have been created or not. And done is going to be a Boolean. Bool. All right. So that is good. Um, Yeah, so result generator, it's good. Yeah, I don't need this anymore. All right, because I don't need to set the day like I was before, because I just need to set done. Like this is my flag now telling my client that's invoking the laying serve runnable, hey, I am done executing now. And so that is good. So now what I need to do to my client is I'll say done is equal to output value. So if the last node that ran when I execute the graph was the result generator, that means that when I get the outputs from the last node that ran, that's why I have a -1 index here, it will have an output value for done. So I'll say dot get done, and then it's going to be false. So if it doesn't exist, then I'll default to false. And so what I'll say is if done, break. Very simple. I'll set days equal to 0, or done. Actually, I don't need that. Sorry, because I have that defined above. All right, I'm going to set done is equal to false. So done starts out as false, and then it gets updated here. I need to declare it with a default value so that it's within the scope outside of the for loop, so that I check it after the for loop. So if done, then I break. Okay, so that should solve that first problem. Um, in fact, I can test that really quick. And what I'm actually going to do is I'm going to just make it so there's 3 workouts in the week. I think because then it'll just make it quicker for me to do some testing here. Yeah, so that looks good. I don't think I need to start with done false. Like I don't think I need that as one of the inputs here. Maybe I do. I'm going to try without that first. Okay, so I'm going to, again, I have to pull up my server. This is my Lang serve running on port 8000. And then I got my client that I'm going to open up in another tab here. All right. So this is the error from yesterday. Oh, yeah, that's silly. All right, this needs to be in quotes, obviously. That's all good. Fix that up quick. All right, now it should run. I'll get that big lang serve. Wow, I am completely stumbling over my syntax here. I didn't delete everything from the day. All right, now we should be good. Cool, cool. Whoops, I need to do that. All right, so now I should get, yeah, there we go. Big lang serve. It's hosted on port 8000 now. Cool, cool. So now I'm going to run my client, and it should generate 3 days, and then it should know when to exit. That is the important thing. I need to make sure that it actually exits here. And then my client will also print the workouts at the end. So all of that should happen. So nothing's going to be printed on my client until the very end, but then we'll get something out on the server for every node. Hold on here. What is this? Unprocessable entity. I got this yesterday, but wait a second. Does it really need the inputs for every piece of state? I wonder if that's. I'm going to try this here. I'm going to set done to false in the inputs. I'm going to see if this actually makes it work. That could be the problem. Hold on, that would be frustrating if that is true, because I shouldn't have to define default values for all my. Well, I guess maybe it makes sense that every single one of my pieces of state would need to have a default value passed in as input. Yep, sure enough, that is actually it. Okay, so that is good to know. So I need to provide every single piece of state in my graph as initial inputs. Um, yeah, that is super good to know. Okay. Well, that actually gives me another idea for for my next problem. But one thing at a time. I'm gonna make sure this actually works. Um, okay. Good, good, good. So you can see here that there's a second request because it actually got the feedback, even though I didn't give any feedback yet, and then it went through the loop again and executed the graph another time. I don't know why I keep saying that day is 1. Oh no, that is fine. No, yeah, 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 because it's revising for day 1 and then route to results for day 1. Um, well, in this case, yeah, okay, yeah, yeah, we're good. We are good. This is looking nice. So it's not going to print the workouts yet, But once it's done with day three, I set the workouts in the week to just three, as you can see in the top left here. So it'll get to three, which is it has to revise day two right now. Then it'll generate day three and then revise day three, and then on my client I should get the output of the full workout. And then I can do the nifty trick that I did yesterday, where I just dump that heap of garbage JSON into GPT, and then it'll print it out nice for me, so I can make sure that everything's still looking good. But if it's getting this far, then it probably should be good, just like it was when I was running this in my Jupyter Notebook and Google Colab. But it's just a nice little sanity check, and then also it's cool because putting a lot of work into taking this off of the notebook to host in LangServe. So it'll be cool to see it actually working. Yep, here we go. Perfect. This is the heap of garbage, but it's actually beautiful garbage. So I'm gonna I'm gonna take this and then I'm going to go to GPT here. And you can see here that this is what I generated yesterday with my other heap of garbage JSON, and I'm just going to give it another one. And I'm going to say, do the same thing. You don't need to get fancy with your prompts. All right, let's take a bit. Um, all right. So yeah, looks good, and it's got the alternatives. That's a really important thing for when I actually get started with the front end. Because the plan is like the AI will generate a workout with these alternatives included, and then when the personal trainer selects an alternative in the front end, it'll actually replace that, pass that back in as the new state for the workout in the graph to continue with the revision. So it'll keep that in mind when it makes the revision. So yeah, that's an important thing. So anyway, that looks good. Back squats, push-ups, overhead press, bent over rows, lat pull downs. Cool, cool. And then yeah, it says workout plan too, but it's day two. So that's good. All right. Wood choppers with cable rotation. Interesting. All right, yeah, we got front rack lunges, incline dumbbell press, seated row machine, narrow grip, tricep dips, pull-ups. I like the variety. This is looking good. And then I'm just going to check the strength portion. Clean and squat. Nice. I like it. Push press, lat pull down. So it repeated itself uh, with day one, but yeah, overall, good variety here. I like this. All right, so we are good. It has successfully generated a workout using LangServe, so I don't have to rely on this massive Jupyter notebook anymore, which is good because I've basically finished the whole idea of getting it hosted in the back end. So let me see. I'm gonna get back to my code here. All right, so the next thing that I need to do is let's see here. I need the inputs. I need to be able to provide this input. Right now, the problem is, and this is something I literally just learned with LangServe. I figured out why I got the issue I got yesterday. So before, I would generate a workout by executing my runnable for the first time, providing all of the inputs that we have here. And then it would take that workout and I would provide this feedback and then call the runnable again in this loop with this as the new input. This worked when I was doing it in my notebook, not with LangServe. The problem is what I learned with LangServe is that your inputs to the stream need to contain every single piece of state that you have in the graph. So everything that I have defined here in my state for the graph needs to be included in the input. Like I have to have the day, the phase, the workouts and week, everything. I can't just have the user feedback like I could have when I was running everything together, not with LangServe for the AI application and then a client that I have mocked up here. Um, so what I can do here is I can actually take the output values because when it spits out like for output when I loop through the output here, this is the output of every single node. So I get the latest output like this, and I can actually just give that as the input again with this update to it. I hope that makes sense. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to define a default value so that I have the right scope here. So output values is equal to a just an empty dictionary. And then I'm going to say output values Holy cow. I did not copy that. All right. So output values and then user feedback is going to be make sure that you include one of these workouts. So I'm going to do it this way. Um, yeah. And then I'm going to say inputs is equal to output values. Okay. I think this is good. I'm going to try this because now my input includes every single item in the state of the graph, but it's going to be exactly the same as where I left it when I exited the graph for the interrupt. And so now it's going to go back to the revision, have all the same state, except I will also have the user feedback. I think that's good. So I'm going to give that a shot. We will see if this works. So this would make it so I don't actually have to do the Firestore thing, um, which I might do that anyway. That's the tough thing. Because the thing that sucks about this is if you don't give an input of none, it doesn't think that it's just continuing. It actually thinks that it's restarting the entire graph, which is not ideal for two reasons. First of all, you can see that each of these requests count as individual requests in LangServe. And then also for Langsmith, for my tracing, I can show that quick. Where's my there it is. There's my Langsmith. They're all like it's I have to log in. Okay, I'll show that later. But I have to actually like look at every single workout generated as an individual item in Langsmith instead of it just being one long execution. So that having it all be together in Langsmith and then not having different requests to Langserve, that would be the advantage of just passing inputs as equal to none. But then I don't have a way to update the feedback and the workout in between and then pass it in as new input, which is why I want to do it this way. So right now I'm just going to see if this works. And then I could think about doing a Firestore, that Firestore idea I had where like I manage the state of the workout externally, and then before I revise a workout, I can grab that state. So that way I can have updated state without having to provide new input. So then I could say inputs is equal to none. So that's my little conundrum that I have here. But this is good for now. And then I guess I could just implement that later because the most important thing is that this is working now, especially once I test this quick here. And then I can move on to the front end because that's really not a big deal, especially because that does not affect the user experience at all. In fact, really the only downside could be like maybe take a little bit longer because these are subsequent requests and not all just like continuing from the same point in the graph. But yeah, like it's going to take about the same exact amount of time. So from the user perspective, the personal trainer using the application, it just doesn't matter, and I can still see things fine in Langsmith. So maybe that's coping a little bit, but I'm going to go with that for now. So all right, let's give this a shot. All right, so yep, user feedback starts as empty. That is totally good. Um, all right, so I'll see if this really works after it generates the first workout here. So I have to wait for this to kick off, and then we can see. Okay. Decides not to revise the workout, but it'll still come back to get the user feedback. Okay. That seems to have not worked. Interesting. Why did that not work? Oh, I know why it didn't work. It's because the output of the node is only the pieces of state that it updated. So this doesn't actually contain all of the keys here. Yeah, that makes sense. I totally missed that there. Okay, got it. Yeah, so that actually won't work because I don't think there's a way to get the state of the graph. Like I could like when I wasn't running through a client and I was actually just running it all in Notebook where I had the compiled app and I ran that, I was able to use the get state call. I can even show that here. If I go to the bottom of my notebook, when I ran it, I would stream the outputs just like we have in the client. But I was able to run this call right here, app.getState. I can't do that in the client. I've checked the documentation, like the official API for the remote runnable, and there isn't a get state function or anything similar to it. So I think I'm out of luck there, which sucks. Um, man, yeah, I think I'm gonna have to manage state externally in Firestore, but that's okay. It's actually I keep going back and forth anyway because there are definitely some clear advantages to managing the state externally. Like I said, I can set inputs to none, and the other thing is that like that way I actually have the workouts saved in a database. I'm gonna kind of I actually, you know what? I certainly will want to save the workouts to a database anyway, because my goal eventually is to make a fine-tuned version of Llama that's fine-tuned on workout generations. And so I need that data. So this is actually kind of useful because my database over time, I'm going to build up this list of inputs, like everything we have here is inputs for the graph, and then the output. What workout did it end up generating for the week, including all the feedback from the personal trainer? And like that's going to be invaluable. If I can get like 1,000 or 5,000 of these workouts generated and fine tune a llama model, that's going to get rid of 90% or more, 95% of the issues and hallucinations that the AI might have generating these workouts. Because it's going to include all of the feedback from the personal trainers in these thousands of workouts that I use as the key value pair. Sorry, I dropped something there. It's going to use like those thousands of workouts with all that feedback as the key value pairs for the fine tuning of the model, and like that's going to be nuts. Like I won't be able, obviously I won't be able to do that for the Nvidia competition. But somewhere when I make my submission for the competition, I'm going to talk about future work for this because I'm going to take this thing to the moon even more than the competition. And that's one of the big things I'm going to do is I'm going to create a fine-tuned model that is so freaking powerful for generating workouts. Um, yeah, so that's going to be dope. But I need those workouts in a database. So I guess this kind of makes sense. So I'm going to fix this up here. Actually, I'm going to undo everything that I had. Okay. All right. So I'm going to have to put the workout to a database. Let me think about this because I might actually want to just put the entire state of the graph. I wish there was a way to get the state. That is too bad. Like the entire state. Yeah, it definitely seems like LangGraph has not been fully made. It hasn't been made well for LangServe yet. Like it definitely seems like even looking at excuse me, I'm burping now because I ate dinner right before this. It was really nice dinner. What was I saying? Um, yeah, yeah. Okay. So like going through all the examples for LangServe in the GitHub repo and the official documentation for LangServe and LangChain, it always uses very basic chains that are created with like just LangChain. Like there's no complex graphs or anything with LangGraph in the examples that they give. And so it very much seems like, I mean, I'm pushing the limits here, which is cool. Like, it actually excites me. Like, I'm doing something that is still like being developed by the Lang chain team. And so I have to do little workarounds like this because things aren't perfect yet. But it means that like I'm pushing the boundaries. And if I get the chance, and like when I win the competition and get some visibility, I'll be able to provide some feedback and make this even better for other people developing in the future, and then also for myself as I continue to use this. And then that'll also just make my back end for Trainer's Ally, this application developing, more polished. So that'll be cool. All right, so what I need to do now is I need to make a, uh, I need to set this all up with Firestore. So yeah, I'm gonna get started with that. Unfortunately though, Firestore, firebase.google.com. I'm gonna probably use an existing project. The reason for that simply being I don't have another account to sign into right now. In the future, I would definitely make another account. Um, well, no, I can make a new project. All right, so I'm gonna call this Trainers Ally. I'm gonna leave out the apostrophe. All right, that's good. Trainers Ally. Continue. Um, Sure, I guess. Google account. Actually, no, I don't. I do not need Google Analytics. Create project. Okay, Trainer's Ally. I'm doing this from scratch because I want to show like this isn't gonna it's gonna take a little bit of time, and I could have definitely just set this up beforehand. In fact, I thought about doing that, but it's like, you know what? Why not? Why not show the full process as I am setting up this application, because I want to document my journey, and that includes all the little things like getting my Firestore set up, and a couple streams ago I showed getting my environment set up, like with the Python packages and environment variables and all that. So I'm getting nitty gritty here. So yeah, all right. Now I need to build, and I need a Firestore database. I'm not going to do anything with authentication at this point. Um, yeah, it'll just be a Firestore database with just like Firestore admin. So I'm going to create a database, and um, yeah, I think this is good. Let's leave that as the default settings, and then start in production mode. So by default, nothing is going to be available to users. I'm going to start there, and then I'll add the rules later. Obviously, I will need that when I have a front end. But while I'm developing this in the back end, even with my client, it's still kind of back end code because it's not running in a browser. I'll just use Firebase admin, which bypasses these rules. So I can start in production mode for now. So I will create this. And then the other thing I'll need is I'll need to create a service account so that I can actually use Firebase admin in my backend. So let's see if we can. All right, cool, cool. I'll start a collection, and I'll have to think about what to call this now. Because this is going to work basically. Um, yeah, so my goal is to store workouts. Um, but there's kind of like a level above that where there's like the session where the personal trainer is currently making workouts. Um, well, you know what? I'll just call it workouts. I was thinking of calling it like workout sessions, but I can just keep it simple. So I will call it workouts. And then, yeah, so I have to give like a document ID. I can just do an auto ID. It doesn't really matter. And then for the field, I would just say like workout. And then this would actually be, um, what would I need this to be here? I guess I'll just stringify the JSON that is the workout. So I'll just call it a string. That's good. Okay. And then this would I can just leave this as like an empty dictionary. So this doesn't really matter because you just kind of have to create like a test document. So basically what's going to happen, let me explain how this is going to work, because how these IDs are going to be generated and maintained in the front end. So let me go to the code quick here. This is going to help me think through this as well. I think this is actually super good that I'm setting up this backend, this Firestore backend to store these workouts. So the way it's going to work is I will generate a unique alphanumeric character, like 20 alphanumeric characters or whatever, and that would be my ID. I would set that as the thread ID in the configuration, so the ID of the thread for that execution of the graph. And then I would also use that as the ID for the document in Firestore for the workout. And so I'm not going to just use auto ID for this. I'm going to have an ID that represents both the workout in the database and then also the ID of the thread. And yeah, that way I can manage that all. It's going to be kind of like a session, basically, like I was saying earlier, and this will have the workout in it. So that is good. Now I need a service account. So I guess I will go to authentication for that. Let's see here. Get started. All right. I haven't set up a brand new um, Firebase project in a while. So I have to remember how to do this because I don't know if this is the right place for a service account. Um, is this it? No, no. What is this? Usage settings. Authorized domains. Oh, okay, I have to remember that too. Where is my service account? I wish I remembered. I think it's okay. Yeah, yeah, here we go. All right, now we are good. What is my service account? I have five service accounts. I wonder if that's because it's using the ones I already have for this, my Google account. Um, oh no, here it is. Yeah, yeah. All right. Perfect. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to copy some code from another project. Because why reinvent the wheel, especially when it's literally my own code? I've used Firestore so much in the past, and I've used Firebase for other things as well, like functions and authentication, user management, all of that good stuff. And so I have a lot of code to work off of already. So I am going to do that and not reinvent the wheel because that'll make it quicker as well. And that is good, especially for a stream. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to have this code off camera. Well, I guess here it's on camera. I'm gonna drag this off though, because I don't want to just like it'd be kind of weird if I'm just like showing a ton of my code for other things while I'm streaming specifically for Trainer's Ally and winning this Nvidia AI Agents Developer Contest. So I'm gonna have the code somewhere else, and then I'll just copy it in as I go. Just like I have here for the helper script, I also have a helper script for another project. And so I'm going to copy some of the code there that will actually get these credentials set up. So I'll just do this at the top here. I might as well do this at the top. Um, good, good. I don't have any imports that I need. Um, all right, yes. Let me take a second here. Record. I'm just searching through my test script to see all that I have. I have to kind of remind myself what I've got here. I gotta sneeze quick. I probably should mute for that, but I don't have a hotkey set up. So yeah, I just saw that my audio just like blasted in the red, but that is all good. Okay. All right, what am I doing? Um, this is the one of the things where like I probably would have been down to do this off camera, but I really want to go through my entire journey here. So that is all good. Yeah, I'm gonna scrap that. I'm actually not gonna do that in my helpers.py. I'm just gonna do it up here because I do that a lot in my other scripts and it works well. So, yeah, the first thing I need is Firebase admin. And also what that means is I need to install Firebase admin. That is the only other library that I need. So I should be good here. And I also install this or import that. Okay, so pip install Firebase admin. And this is within my Trainer's Ally virtual environment that I got going here still. So I'll install that. It should be nice and quick because there's not too many dependencies. Um, yeah, that shouldn't take too long. Okay, so I'll let that run. And then in the meantime, I will finish setting this up. Okay. So again, I'm just copying code here. This is my code to initialize the application. So there's a couple of things here. First of all, I need to actually get the credentials. And so I'm going to have a folder here called credentials. And then within here, I'm going to create a new file called firebase creds.json. And then within my git ignore, I'm going to ignore everything in my credentials folder, like this. Or I guess the whole folder. I'll just ignore the whole folder. Okay. And so now I need to actually create the credentials here. And so I'm going to do that in a second here. First, I'm just going to make sure that it installed everything fine. Okay, perfect, perfect. So it did. And so now, just to make sure I keep my requirements file up to date with the all the Python packages I need for this environment, I'll just do another pip freeze and put that out to requirements.txt. I just like to keep this up to date because it sucks when you forget things. Like you install a new package and then you don't update this, and then when you go and set this up in another environment, you get screwed because you're missing stuff and you don't remember what you are missing. And yet, so you have to go back in your other environment and then redo the pip freeze or try to look through what packages you're missing, and it is not fun. All right, so now I'm going to set this up. Unfortunately, though, I have to do this off camera. Obviously, I cannot show my credentials for Firebase. And so I'll go ahead and do that. Yeah, well, the first thing though, I need to actually get my credentials. So I'm going to bring this to another screen as well. Can't be sharing that. And all right, give me the new key. I've generated, oh shoot, I don't know which, okay. All right. I didn't know what browser is gonna, or like which monitor is gonna open in, but I was able to just like drag it and open to my other one, which is good, because otherwise it'd be a disaster. I just regenerated, I guess. But yeah, let me get this set up. So I'm gonna drag this over, paste this in, and then I'm just gonna compare the, oh man. All right. I'm just gonna compare this to what I have in another project. Okay. It didn't show everything there, luckily. That would have been unfortunate. All right. So the service count. So I'm just comparing two files right now. Super quick. I wish I could do this on camera, but I don't like some people when they it's actually pretty cool when they stream or not stream when they make YouTube videos that are not in real time. They'll show all their private keys and willy-nilly and stuff because they'll just delete it all and set it up differently later. But obviously when I'm streaming, I can't do that. So all right, we are all good to go. It was nice and quick. All right, so I got the credentials. Solid. All right, I'm just gonna check the stream quick. Good, good. Okay, all right. So I got the credentials set up. Firebase app is initialized with these credentials. So now I can go willy-nilly with putting stuff in the database. Um, there's two things here because I need to update things here, and then I actually need to retrieve that in the revisor agent. So yeah, I'll tackle these things one at a time. So first I need to actually update it here. So instead of just having inputs with user feedback, I'm going to actually put something in the document. So what I need to do here, I'm going to look at my other code for an example again. Why not? All right. So I need an example where I set a value. All right. So first of all, I need to actually make an instance of Firestore because I've authenticated with Firebase, but now I need the database. So DB like this. And then what I will do is I will say workout ref is equal to db dot collection, and this is workouts dot document, and then I need a thread ID here. So actually what I'm going to do is I'm going to ask GPT Quick to make this for me. So let me go do that quick. All right, so we're back here in GPT. I'm going to say make me a Python function to generate a UUID. Actually, there's probably a library for this. Yes, there, of course, there's a library for it. Is this alpha numeric? Yeah. Okay. Yeah, so I'm just going to use UUID. I don't need to make some fancy function. I just brain farted here and wasn't thinking that I could just do that. So, yeah, all right, now we're good. So I'm going to import UUID. Um, and then how do I use it? I'm going to look at that again. So I just do UUID. Okay, that's easy enough. All right, let me copy that. I haven't done a ton with UUIDs before, or at least it's been a bit, so it's helpful just as a refresher. All right, so my thread ID is going to be equal to the string of the UUID, and then I'm going to replace that here, and then I'm also going to use that as the name of the document. Perfect. Okay. And then what I'm going to do, um, actually, you know what? I don't need this. I don't need to redefine this every time in the loop. I don't know what I'm doing there. So I'm gonna define it up here. And then now I will say workout ref dot set. And then I typically it's a good habit to merge is equal to true just so it doesn't overwrite any other keys that aren't included in what I'm updating it here. So I will do that. And then I'm going to say that I want the workouts to be workouts and then the user feedback. This is what would be like both of these are going to be dynamic in the front end. So right now I'm just going to keep the workouts the same. And then for the user feedback, I'm going to include what I had hard coded there. So now I can remove this. Okay, so now I'll continue with inputs as none. But now we've actually set the workouts, which is pretty sweet. So actually for my testing, I'm going to make days equal to 2. I'm going to test that this actually works now. So that I can actually generate a workout and see that the data gets updated in Firestore. All right, this should be good. I'm just double checking my work here. Always a good thing to do. All right, this looks good. Let's run it. Restart my server. I don't think I really needed to, but I'm gonna do it anyway because it's not actually set up to take the feedback yet. I need to actually include that in the agent, but right now I just want to make sure that it can actually update Firestore. So that is what I will be doing. All right, let's get this client running. Let's generate some workouts. I set days is equal to 2, so it's short, but I still want it to like do more than just one thing and be done. So I'm just gonna set it to 2. All right, so after it generates this workout, that is when I'll be able to actually check the database here. Because yeah, right now if I go to Firestore, there's nothing yet, but there will be in a second here if it works, unless I hit an error. Oh, that's wrong terminal. Let me open this again. Still generating the workout. Here we go. Boom. That's cool. Wait, I kind of botched that though. No, no, it didn't, because it's an array. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Okay. Why did it have the alternatives first here? Alternatives exercise, and this one is okay. No, it doesn't actually matter because it's still correct. Okay, good, 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 good. This is perfect. Nice. Yep, I mean, there's 2 days, and then if I go back to the client and server, everything should be done. Yep, like it finished and it printed out the workouts. Nice. Okay. So this is the workout for day 1, index 0. This is for day 2, index 1. This is good. All right, so now everything that my agent does to generate these workouts, it'll get put in the database now with the ID that's also used for the thread for the graph. This is nice. All right, all right. So now what I need to do is I actually need to pull these two things and update the state in the revisor. All right, let's do that. So I'm going to go back to my code and I'm going to, in my runnable, I'm gonna set up Firestore in the same way. All right. got the imports, and then I need to create the database instance. That is good. I mean, I could extrapolate this into a helper function or something, but it's pretty short code, so I'm not really worried about it. That wouldn't be super worth optimizing, to be honest. Okay, so that is all good to go. Now I can fetch based on the thread. Um, I don't know if there's a way to get the thread ID in the graph. So I might need to make that as a piece of state as well. I'm gonna do that quick. I don't like, maybe there's a way to do it, but this is gonna be so simple anyway that I might as well just take care of it. So I'm gonna say the thread ID is equal to thread ID, and then in the runnables, I'm gonna add a state thread ID, the ID of the thread for the current execution of the graph. And then thread ID is just a string. Okay, so I have the thread ID now. And this is never going to be updated, so I don't have to do anything in any of my nodes of the graph, but that's just going to be set as what I'm using as a thread ID for the inputs. So, because I need this as the ID of the document to fetch to update the workouts and the user feedback. So, yeah, that'll be good. All right, so now I need to actually use this in my revised workout generator. So what I'm going to do here, yeah, so I'll still use the state within the graph in case it doesn't exist in the document in Firestore, or if the document doesn't exist. So I'll say workout ref is equal to db.collection workouts dot document, and then this is going to be the thread ID is equal to state thread ID. All right. And then I have to remember how I check if it exists quick, because I think it's just like ref.exists or um yeah, hold on, let me yeah, okay, so um yeah, so workout doc is then equal to, all right, now let's just do this. Doc equal to, so that's the reference to the document, and then to actually get the document, it's the dot get function. And then I'll say if the workout doc exists, then I will actually get the data from it and update the feedback in the workout. Okay. Okay, so if it exists, then I'm going to get workout data is equal to workout docked dot to dictionary. All right. And then now I can update the things. So I'll say um so first I'll start with the workout. So current workout is equal to workout data dot get, and then this is still JSON. I didn't actually stringify it, so I can just say workout. Let me make sure I have that right. So I'm calling it workouts plural. So I have to make sure I simulate that here. And then if it doesn't exist in the document, so if the document does exist, but still it doesn't have the workouts property, then I'll just default to what it already is from the internal state of the graph. So that's a convenient way where there's a guaranteed fallback of whatever it was before there was any feedback. And this is just best practice so that it would never fail if there's some weird case where somehow the user did provide feedback, but the workout wasn't updated or wasn't there in the document. And yeah, so it's good to have that fallback there. And then I'll say that the user feedback is basically just the same thing. So user feedback, and yeah, there's like copy that string 3 times because it's literally called user feedback as the variable, as the attribute of the document. So yeah, super good there. Keeping it consistent in the variable names is good. All right, let's see if this works. I am curious. And actually, what I can do is an ultimate test because I'm no longer setting the user feedback as inputs. Like the user feedback is going to be an empty string no matter what, unless it successfully pulls it from Firestore. So what I can do in the revisor here is I can actually print and say that the user feedback is, and then user feedback. And then I'm actually going to remove that here. Oh, wait, hold on. Yeah, I don't need to print it here anymore. Um, actually, hold on. Um, yeah. Okay. I don't need I don't need this router anymore. The only reason I had this router, let me go back to the graph here because I'm going to show this and then it'll help me understand it myself. So let me go back to the graph. The only reason I had this entry point that would go to revise or create workout is because of my old way where I had to set the inputs to something other than none. And so it would actually restart the graph. And so I'd have to go back to where I was originally, depending on if I just provided feedback, so I need to revise the workout, or if I would need to generate a new workout. And so that being said, now that I'm doing the state management of the workout and the feedback to Firestore, I don't need this anymore. So I'm gonna bite the bullet and just take care of that right now and get rid of this router because I do not need this because now it'll continue where it left off because I have inputs set to none. So I do not want this. Deleting some precious code, but it's super basic code, so I should not care. Yeah, and so then what that means is then when so I have the entry point, but I'll just add an edge here. So the entry point will always go to workout generator. So I still want the entry point because that's where I'm going to do some security checks basically, like just to make sure that the personal trainer, like in the future when I have like a payment system for this is the entry point is we're going to check like does the personal trainer still have credits or tokens or whatever to generate another workout because I'm going to have pricing um, where either like they'd pay per workout they generate or like a bunch of tokens generate a bunch, or maybe there'd be like a tier where there's a maximum of workouts they can generate for the month, whatever that might be. I would need to control that into some entry point that would guard all of the calls to my AI to make it so that it'd be impossible for somebody to abuse my system and just rack up my AI bill by bypassing the security I have to make sure that they are using credits and it's checking the credits or tokens, whatever I'm going to end up calling it. So I still want this entry point. It is still useful, but I'll just have it go right to the workout generator now instead of having that conditional edge that I had before. And so now my graph, instead of going to one of these two, there would just be an arrow to workout generator. So that's what's going to look like now. Okay, so that is good. Um, all right, so now I gotta think about what I was doing here. Yeah, so in the revisor now, I, yep, print out the user feedback. So this should not just be an empty string after it generates for the first day. That'll be the real test here. So let's see. Just making sure this looks good. I think this is good. All right. It's a big deal if it works because I'm gonna be like done with the Langster stuff completely. Like I'd actually be able to go over the front end, which I might not have like a ton of time for tonight. I'm pretty drained. I've been coding for hours and hours and hours today. Even when a software developer has a 9 to 5 job, they're not always coding for the entire 8 hours. Like sometimes it's only like 3 hours, 4 hours of coding because you have a lot of meetings, a lot of work just like doing documentation and maintaining things and checking on processes and stuff. But I've like been legitimately coding for like 10 hours today, and so I'm exhausted. There's a lot of stuff that I have going on. This thing honestly is the thing that excites me the most right now, but I got a lot going on. So yeah, I'm exhausted, but this pumps me up. Like this is the thing I'm able to do at night still, when I am tired because it is exciting. And I'm making really good progress here, which is really dope. If I was making slow progress, that'd be a bummer. All right, so I'm gonna print or let this go, and yeah, everything compiled successfully, which is good. The real test now is going to be when I run the reviser. And so it'll print out the user feedback, and that will be anything but an empty string. That's all I'm looking for, because that means it actually pulled the feedback from the Firestore document. So fingers crossed that this works. Almost there. Um, oh, yeah, okay, I see. It decided not to revise the workout, so it never got to the reviser, which is a bummer. Um, Shoot. Okay, yeah, so it's actually going to go through the full thing here without revising because it's deciding not to revise. So, but that's simple because all I'm going to do is I'm going to change this so that it always revises. That's all I need to do to fix it. So in the because this is kind of an outdated thing. Um, Like originally, I wasn't gonna have user feedback when I was like first JDerming this. I thought about ways to take it so much further, like what I'm doing now. And so I just had the AI was gonna decide should I revise the workout, and then if it decided it should, then it would go and revise. So here what I'm gonna do is uncomment this. This would guarantee that it always doesn't revise, and so I'll change it so that it always does. It always revises. Then I'll restart the server here. Okay, that's good. Boom. All right, and then run the client. Okay, so now it'll actually get to the point where it tries to revise a workout and it'll pull the state from Firestore. It was cool to see that that all worked when it didn't revise. It's actually kind of interesting because when I use Llama 70B, it always says to revise the workout. But now I'm using hold on, it said NA. Oh, actually, that's fine because it prints it and then it sets it to the hard coded value. Okay, so anyway, Llama 70B instruct for some reason is deciding now to not revise a lot when 70B non-instruct did say to revise all the time. Anyway, here we go. The feedback worked. That is super dope. It pulled this from oh no, I got an error. Um uh yeah, I know what this is. Okay, this is the problem that I had earlier where sometimes it doesn't print valid JSON. That again, it's kind of weird because I've actually had more luck with let me go to my models here. Where are my models? What am I doing? Yeah, yeah. Okay. I've had more luck with Llama 3 70B than I've had with 70B Instruct for two reasons. First, like I was just talking about, Llama 3 70B non-instruct, my original model that I was using with Grok, it always said to revise the workouts, which I guess you could argue is a bad thing. This is Llama 370B instructed more dynamic, where like sometimes it says it should and sometimes it says it shouldn't. Who knows what an LLM is really thinking, if that's which one is better. But I kind of liked it more when it was revising a lot. Maybe it's just kind of help me test things, but who knows. And then the other thing is sometimes Llama 370B instruct is not generating valid JSON. Part of that is my prompt. Because I don't include brackets, so it's not valid JSON in the example I give, but I tell it that. So I tell it to replace it with brackets. If I have brackets here, then it thinks that it's just another one of the replaceable values, and that messes up with LangChain. So that's why I use the parentheses. There's probably a way to fix that. I just did it like this. But yeah, it's kind of weird because like sometimes instruct will fail to generate valid JSON, and then I get that JSON error. So yeah, let me regenerate this here. But anyway, it's taking the feedback from Firestore, which is perfect because now I have the all this power available to me now to manage the state in Firestore on the front end for the user, and then bring that into the reviser, both any changes to the workouts and then also the free form feedback. I'm going to have both of those available on the front end, so that's going to be super exciting. So yeah, let's see if this works now. This should be fine. Because maybe the JSON error is coming from somewhere else, but um, no, it's definitely not because it made it here and now it's waiting because it's actually generating the workout and it failed like immediately after the prompt finished. So it definitely was failing because of what I just described. Let's see here. Just gotta wait. Same problem. Yeah, yeah, it's screwing up the format here, but it's cool because it included the push presses. So it listened to my feedback because that's one of the things I told it to include. It's really too bad with the whole formatting thing. I'll have to figure that out. It'll probably be easy because there's probably some way where I can just be more clear on the JSON format or not have to have that little workaround in the code in the prompt where I have the parentheses instead of the actual brackets. So I'll look into that. Um, I guess if it keeps failing, I should maybe look into it now. The other thing is I can just try Grok for now. Because like it would not be acceptable to have this happen even one in every 100 times. If I actually have this thing deployed for real, like that's just a terrible experience. Like even very rarely, it's just like completely fails. Like literally just because my prompt could be better. Like that's not acceptable. So I definitely want to make that better. I just want to see if I can get a good execution here. Even just to like see another example of the feedback. Okay, yeah, so now it works. So now there's no issue and it generated proper JSON. So it's a little bit random here. And yeah, that could be solved by either using a different model or making my prompt better. And yeah, I want to make my prompt better because I don't want to rely on only certain models working. Definitely not a good idea. Like in general, you know your prompt is good when it does what you want the LLM to do, no matter the model you have, and that can sometimes be a challenge in its of itself. But that yeah, that's when you know that you got a really good model, or I mean, a really good prompt because it'll work for every model. So anyway, this is almost done here. As long as this last revision doesn't generate invalid JSON, and then yes, here we go. Okay, perfect. So um, that's actually kind of concerning that there's a none here at the end. I don't like that. Is it really only generate one workout? Let me. I'll spit this into AI and see. Do the same thing. I might have fricked up somehow and only generated one workout. Yeah, I think it did. Um, I mean, that's not an issue with my setup. I think it really is the prompt. Because it must have generated invalid JSON, but it was in a different way where the LangChain JSON output parser was just like, nope, this is now none, instead of it being like a JSON parse error. Yeah, okay. So yep, hang clean. There we go. So it's including the feedback, and that's the important thing that I wanted to test. I'm actually gonna run this again and use I'm gonna use Grok. So I have to change my environment variable. So I gotta hide that because I have to actually go into my env, change it to no, right, and then bring it back. Okay, so now it's using Grok, and it's cool. I just flipped a tiny little switch, and boom, it is using an entirely different AI or entirely different LLM with a different provider. It's not Nvidia. I know it's a Nvidia competition, but I mean, I'm going to be using Nvidia in the long term. I just wanted to test this quick here with Grok. It also might take a little quicker, so that's good too. And it's entirely free. I'm not using my Nvidia credits. So for a lot of the testing I want to do, I should probably be using Grok anyway. So yeah, this is good. Okay, yeah, yeah, no issues now here. Or I guess this is the first time it's revising, so we'll see. I just really want to make sure that I don't get a none in my output again. Everything that I changed here with Firestore shouldn't have caused it to produce none for the workout. Um, yeah. Well, actually, I have an idea. Let me just see what it does. But there actually might be an issue that I just realized. So hold on a sec. Well, it's taking its time now. Okay, let me explore that issue. I'm wondering if the last node doesn't output the workout, and that's why it was none. No, because even that should be created workouts. Okay, so when I have the result generator, Result generator. No, it hasn't created workouts. I think this is good. It definitely shouldn't be a none. Where are you at now? It's generating the workout for the second day. Okay, so I'll just keep waiting for that. Trying to think of anything. Do any of my nodes not include a created workout? The result generator does, the revisor does. Yeah, even the entry point does. So none of that should be an issue. I think it was just an invalid output that caused that. Um, yeah, okay, yeah, Grok is weird because it's really quick, but then like I think it hits like a rate limit or something, and then it's gets slower as it goes. It's getting there, but it ends up like taking a bit longer than Nvidia, which is actually kind of cool for Nvidia. It's nice and quick. I do appreciate that. But Grok is good because it's not taking my Nvidia credits anyway, so I'll stick with that for a lot of my testing. Um, yeah, okay. I think everything is good here, so I'm just gonna wait for it to finish revising, and then I will see if the output is none for that second day. That would be concerning if it is. If it is for Grok as well, then there's definitely a problem. It is taking its sweet time. Holy cow. Come on. I could go like look at my code again, but this could be done in 2 seconds here. Come on. Oh wait, no, it hasn't even revised the second workout yet. Yeah, okay, so it's definitely gonna take a little bit here. All right. So what was the other problem that I was thinking? I'm gonna look at the client and see how the workouts are. So workouts, oh, this is good. I'm just doubting myself here because I've just never seen it before. Even when I was using NVIDIA for the last like 50 tests I've done, I've never seen it produce none for one of the workouts. It's always been valid JSON, or I have seen it give that error before because I just need to make my prompt better. Um, Let me go to the reviser again. Route to revise workout. Um, yeah, I mean, I only changed this here, and then my reviser. I mean, changing these things wouldn't hurt it, right? Because yeah, I mean, I have perfect defaults. Like if it defaults to how it worked before I grabbed things from Firestore, so there definitely shouldn't be a problem. Um, damn, Grok, I need to fix my prompt. This is not acceptable. All right, all right. So what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna try this again, and then while it's running for a second time, I'm going to figure out how to fix that. I think that's worth my time. I probably won't get around to the front end today, which I think is okay because I've been putting a lot of work into making sure that this works for the front end well. Like I've been thinking the entire time I developed this back end, how do I make my front end work with this? And I've been designing things around it, like with the whole streaming and the inputs equal to none, and making sure that I'm not relying on any back end functions like the update state that and the get state that exist on the compiled app lane graph object because I don't have access to that in the front end. So even like all the work with this client, like it kind of is front end work. I'm not working on like the visual yet. That's okay because that can come later because this is the most important thing to perfect. So maybe I'm coping a little bit, but like I really am knocking through the stuff that I need for the front end through this, and then everything with the Firestore and getting that set up because I'll have that all ready for the front end as well for the database for other things as well. It's in the next step in getting authentication and stuff because I probably want to use Firestore for that. So I think right now I want to fix this prompt because this is frustrating. This is so frustrating when it's constantly generating invalid JSON. Um, how can I do this? There's two options. One, I could try to like tell it better to replace with brackets, or I could figure out a way to include brackets in the prompt without having it consider that it is one of the. Well, here, what if I did this? Can I escape? Um, I'm just gonna do a Google search. Lang chain, use brackets in prompt. Okay. Okay. So I might be able to do a double bracket. Okay. Well, oh, here we go. Here we go. This is what exactly what I'm looking for. Um, hmm. I don't want to switch to this because basically this is like a whole new formatting system where I can use double brackets for the variables and then brackets outside of that. Um, I don't want to do that. Let me see. Okay. All right, yeah, yeah. So I think I should be able to just add double brackets and it should replace it with brackets. Yeah. Okay, let's try that. So I can actually, because this will make my prompt a little bit shorter too. It's just nice. It's a dub. All right. Oh, what am I doing? I'm deleting everything. Goodness gracious. All right. I hope this works. Well, first of all, is this done? Oh, I never ran my client. Derp. All right, I'll run my client because I at least have that running while I fix this up here. It's a little long. I kind of want to think about if maybe I could make this prompt shorter as well. That could definitely be beneficial. I also might maybe should just do a find and replace here, but probably have other parentheses and stuff that I don't want to accidentally delete. So I'm almost done with this already, so it's not long. All right, all right. And then I could also check a Langsmith and make sure this is setting everything up right. Or just validate by seeing if it outputs things correctly. That's always a good idea as well. Okay, so that looks good. And then I just need to change it here as well. So I'm going to start by what I already have copied and do it in reverse order here. A little bit tedious, but what is coding if you don't have the tedious stuff to go along with all the exciting things? I wish that, well, I could probably have just pasted this in GPT and said, hey, replace all of the parentheses with double curly brackets. But at this point, I'm so close to being done that it'd be quicker just to go this way. So I'm just going to do that because it's going to take like 2 more seconds here. Um, oh, I actually messed up a bracket there. I also could have been part of the problem. Lazy prompting. But now it is not lazy. Now I'm doing it perfect because I'm actually giving the proper JSON format so it doesn't hallucinate crappy JSON because that is not good. Yeah, it failed again, but now it won't. Better not. It better not freaking fail. All right. Well, actually, I'm just going to use Nvidia for now because I want to. That's what I care about working, and so I'm going to make sure that it actually works. So let me switch the environment variable over again. So using Nvidia. All right, so we're using Nvidia again. All right. All right, and then run the server. Let's go. And then run the client. Boom. All right. All right. No more hallucinations, no more bad JSON. Getting the perfect output now. Let's give it a go. All right. So if this works, I will have everything completely ready to not just start on the front end, because like I was saying earlier, I'm kind of already working on the front end because I'm making this client and making sure that all works. Because translating that over to JS is going to be easy. Not only will I have a everything ready with LangServe and started on the front end, I will actually be able to get into the user interface, and that's going to be exciting because it's going to really, really make this come to life. Because at this point, it's really exciting to see the AI work well and generate these workouts that I'm able to look at and be like, yes, this is really good. But it'll be another thing when I can actually fiddle around with providing feedback and adjusting workouts in the UI and having that all work in the front end for me. So I'm really excited to do that. And that is what I'll get started on with tomorrow. And I think my stream tomorrow will hopefully be a bit of a longer one as well. This one's going to shape up to be, yeah, about an hour and a half, which is solid. solid length, but tomorrow I'm hoping to do like 2.5 hours. We'll see what I'm feeling up to. We'll see what progress I make. Because also if I get to a good stopping point, like that also kind of determines the length. So we'll see. But yeah, I want to really get started on the front end, which will be dope. Yeah. All right, so it's almost done revising the second day here. Cool. So it's almost done, fully done. Because once it revises the second day, then it's done. And then I can take a look. All right, there we go. Perfect. All right, so using the Nvidia API, both days there's not a none. There's no errors of JSON. I've got a full 2 days now, and so I'm gonna spit that back into GPT and say do the same thing. All right, let's get it. What do you got for me? All right, so now it's good. Before there was just one workout, so it said workout plan instead of workout plan one. So that is good. All right, looks good. Looks good. Cool, cool. All right, we got power cleans. I like it. Actually, I haven't done power cleans in a bit. Um, did a lot of hang cleans recently. A bit different. All right, then day two, we got some good variety, and we got hang cleans instead of power cleans. Like it. I mean, it's pretty similar to power cleans, but my feedback is just kind of stupid. But it's perfect. Like this is exactly. Yeah, yeah. Here we go. Like even the alternatives are following the guidelines for the user feedback. So this is sweet. We are good to go. Okay, nice. I'm literally done with LangServe. So now at this point, I think my submission to NVIDIA, like I can develop this entire thing running locally and even record the demonstration for the competition submission with things running locally. There isn't really a need for me because I know I talked about a couple streams ago, actually like hosting the LangServe in a DigitalOcean droplet. I'll have to think about this. It might be worth me doing that just so I can say that like this was deployed somewhere, not just running on my laptop. But it also probably doesn't really hurt just to have it running on my laptop for the submission and the demonstration. Because the whole power of NVIDIA and Lang chain, like everything that I'm proving out here, is way more complex than the actual deployment of it. Like the deployment is going to be basic, because literally all I need to do, going to back to the code here, is, um, wow, I lost my mouse. I've never. Okay, there it is. That was weird. I was like moving around, but I couldn't see my own mouse. Okay, what I was saying is, like, I'll host this the exact same way, just on some other machine, and then in my client, instead of saying localhost port 8000, I give the IP of my DigitalOcean droplet. That's super basic. And then for the front end, I'm going to be using Vercel to deploy a Next.js application built on top of React, and that is going to be just like, push it to the Git repo and then Vercel deploys it so easy. So the deployment, everything is gonna be so easy. So I might just not even bother with putting on DigitalOcean, just have this lang serve running locally on my laptop, and then just continue to call localhost. Yeah, we'll see. I'll think about it, but I can just keep it basic because the things that I really care about, the cool stuff I'm making here, is not related to deploying it really, until I want to actually make it a product. But for the competition, I don't need to make it a product. So yeah, I think that's what I'm thinking there. But I might change my mind. We'll see. But anyway, yeah, I got I have so many workouts in here now. This is crazy. I'm gonna delete this test document too. I don't need that. Okay. Yeah, I need to clean these up. I could create a system for that, cleaning them up. This is so cool. Like having the JSON in here and seeing this is dope as heck. Having the alternatives with the exercise. Yeah, this is awesome. All right, let's go. Um, yeah. So next steps here. So the first thing I wanted to mention, for the front end, I'm using a template that Vercel created for working with chatbots. So Vercel chatbot template. I could probably actually just search it. Next AI, Next.js AI template. This is literally the template that I'm using. So I'm going to make a user interface that looks kind of like this. And so on the left-hand side, this is where you'd have basically like your list of clients. And then instead of new chat, it'd be like new client. And then you could click into a client and then you'd be able to generate the workouts for them. And so I'll have to expand this UI a little bit where maybe like before it goes right to the chat, there could be like view your previous workouts you've made for your client. And then like another button where it's like make the next one. And then it would open up this chat. But yeah, I can really utilize a lot of this UI already, so I don't have to do a crap ton from scratch because that's not worth my time. Because the thing I care about the most is developing something really powerful with Nvidia and LangChain, and that's what I've already put a lot of my time into. That's what I'll continue to perfect and what I want to put my time into. The user interface is just the means to expose all the power that I've created already and will continue to perfect. And so I don't want to spend a crap ton of time on the front end. And so I'm going to utilize this as a template. And yeah, I kind of already described how I can do that pretty effectively. And yeah, it's already got authentication and stuff, which is super cool. I'm going to use Firebase or Firestore authentication eventually, but this just runs with Next.js auth, which I'll just have for now. It's good enough. And then I can move to Firebase authentication later, which is really easy to set up. I've done that many, many times, and it's super powerful and convenient, cost effective. Firebase is great. There's all other alternatives like Supabase and stuff that are pretty solid and less enterprise-ish. But yeah, I like Firestore and Firebase as a whole. So that is a plan there. The other main thing that I have to do is yeah, like change up the UI here so it's like a list of clients and their workouts and stuff. And then I also need to change, it already has like all the AI stuff hooked into it using a really nice Vercel AI library, which is pretty cool. Vercel has made this AI library where you can like stream your outputs into a chat. So like it won't all just like pop up at once. Like you can see it kind of like wrote it out like you would see in the GPT UI. So like it has all that functionality there. I just need to change it so that instead of like calling directly to GPT, it would invoke my LangServe runnable. And I've actually figured out how to do that. Um, Vercel AI LangChain. Um, they have some examples that I'm going to hopefully be able to use pretty well here. Let me see if I can pull this up quick here. This is nice for me just to go over this right now because it's helping me prep for the next time that I'll be streaming and working on this because this is going to be a big thing to tackle. Like I've tackled a lot of work already, like getting the back end set up, getting all the like the whole graph working really well with generating workouts and getting that link serve. Now I need to actually create the front end. So that's the next big thing to do. This is not helpful. Why is this? This is what I want, but it is not. It is showing any code. Okay, hold on. I'm determined to find this now. Shoot, there is a lot of code here. Oh man, I have to kind of guesstimate um where I need to go here. Um, this might actually be it. Shoot. Okay. All right. Vercel AI documentation. I know that they had a page specifically for the Vercel. Oh, that is the wrong one. I need to go to the second one. They had a page specifically for working with Lang chain. Come on, where are you? Wait, no, what is it? Vercel AI documentation. This is it. Come on, where is it? Docs. Come on. I'm all over the place right now. Goodness gracious, where am I? Oh, you just have to scroll down a little bit. I was in the right place. All right, here we go. Um, Stream helpers. Yes. Finally. I found it. And it's not bookmarked. I need to bookmark this. And Kaya Fitness is my wife's personal training business. I made this originally to help her, and that's still my really my primary goal. And so I that's why I have these things bookmarked in Kaya Fitness folder and not Trainer's Ally, even though I mean both work. Anyway, So yeah, this is the documentation I'll be following to specifically integrate my runnable, because I'm literally like I have that stream function that I'm calling in my client, so this is perfect. This is how I will integrate LangChain with Vercel AI SDK for my front end. It's too bad they really not give an example. No way. Oh, okay. I'm gonna unbookmark this. It's because they have this is right. Um, yes. Okay. Here we go. I'm glad I have this figured out, 'cause this will just make it so that I can get into the meat of things quicker in the next stream. So yeah, I'm taking a little bit of an L now. But like I said, I want to document my whole journey and not just have the super most interesting parts in my streams. So it's good. I'm getting this out of the way. I got my documentations bookmarked. So yeah, LangChain adapter from AI. This is the Vercel AI SDK. They literally call it AI, which is super cool. They snagged that name for NPM. And then yeah, model.stream. So instead of it being a model, it would be my runnable. So I'd create that runnable, and the way that I do that is going to be, let me go back to documentation for LangServe. They have the JavaScript example that I would use. Where is it? Yeah, you're right here. Okay, so I import a remote runnable, and then I get the chain, and then I can do chain.stream, and that'd be the kind of the same thing that they have here, where it is model.stream, but it'd be chain.stream, and then I'd give it my prompt. Um, or in this case, it'd actually be the inputs that I would give. I'm pretty sure that that'll all work. I wonder if they do that here. Create runnable UI. Let's see. Trying to. What is create runnable UI? Oh, it's a okay. So it's a tool within the repo. It's not a third-party library thing. Okay. 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 Yeah, I think this is more helpful right now. So okay, yeah, so it's an adapter. So basically, I will take the LangChain stream and convert that into a Vercel AI SDK stream. And so then I can return the streaming, which basically will make it so that it reads out nicely to the screen, like I showed with the example in the demo here. So I can say hello, and then it'll yeah write it out nice. It's pretty quick here, but you can still see that it wasn't like all just thrown at you instantaneously. So I think that's what this is doing. Overall, the Versatile AI SDK is super useful because you're basically able to like create an AI object within your website that has custom functions that you can tie to the AI. So you can do other nifty things if you're trying to like update state to like prep for an LM call or for example. So maybe I could actually like have some function in the AI. Oh, this is a good idea. I could have some function within this like Vercel AI object that updates the Firestore state for the feedback. And so I can kind of have that extrapolated out so that my React component for the chat doesn't have to also have all the Firestore stuff in it. So it should just really make for really clean code, which is my goal for the front end. Like I want it to be simple. That's why I'm using a template, and I want it to be super clean, and that's why I'm using Vercel AI SDK. And then also, um, it the Vercel AI SDK is super nice because oh man, I lost my train of thought. Oh yeah, yeah. You can make the responses as React components, which is so cool. Like they had an example with the weather, um, like a weather example, React component AI response. I hope I can find this. Okay. This thumbnail shows it well. Oh shoot, I can't. Um let's see. Oh man, I just want to show this quick because it's really really cool, and then I'll probably wrap up the stream here. You can't really. It's not the thumbnail's tiny, but
What if you could dynamic?
he had a perfect example here. Yeah. Okay. Well, I guess maybe I could have got that to show up here, but like this is an example. Like this is a response from the AI. It probably like outputted JSON, kind of like actually literally exactly what I'm doing with my workouts. The AI outputs JSON, and then you take that JSON, and then the Vercel AI SDK gives you some really nifty ways to take that JSON and use it to input things into a React component. So you can display a beautiful response here. And so what I'm going to do is literally something like this. We're going to have the AI generate a workout. So I'm going to call my lang serve runnable. I'm going to get a workout for the first day. It's going to come back to the front end, and it's going to be spit out as a really nice looking component, like it's its own React component as a response. And there's going to be the options there to click a drop down to view the alternative workouts and put those in. And there'll be a place for the free form text, maybe within the component, or I could just have it in the chat here. I'll have to think about that, and then I'll be able to just like click like go, and like instead of purchase, like generate the next day or something like that. And so then it'll take that feedback, generate the next day, and then spit out another thing that looks like this. And then eventually it'll spit out that final workouts set for the week, like the 5 workouts or whatever. And it'll be that nice beautiful format that would be like really easy to read, because the personal trainer is going to have to take that and probably put that in some other application that they have, like Everfit or whatever, where they would actually assign the workout to the client. Obviously, I'm not going to integrate this and make this a full fitness application where I'd make it so you could actually like import your clients and assign it to them in here. You'd still, personal trainers are still going to have some external software like Everfit to manage all that, because I don't want to go balls to the walls with this at this point, at least, maybe in the future. So yeah, I just need a really nice way to display the workouts, and this is going to be perfect. So I am really looking forward to using the Vercel AI SDK to like really bring this together in a nice front end for everything that I've already built, generating these workouts on the back end. Because like yeah, like this JSON is already in perfect format. Like this is exactly what I need to make something really beautiful like this. And so that is what I'm going to be working on for a lot of this week. My plan is, so I'm going to be streaming again tomorrow. My plan is to get the front end started for this, and to start getting something like this where I can actually display that workout that and get that feedback. And that's going to be what I'm going to be doing as I stream every day for this week until the weekend. And then my goal with the weekend is to really just spend hours and hours and hours perfecting everything. There's been a lot of things I've kind of mentioned as I've been streaming that like, oh, I'll probably do this better later or whatever, and then things will come up, and I want to like, make sure that like everything's documented really well. And so I'm going to be spending a lot of time doing that during the weekend, and then the competition is due on the 17th, and so that's going to be, I believe, next Monday. And so I kind of got it planned out already where it's like during the week, I'm going to be going really hard on the front end. And then during the weekend, I'm going to be documenting things and just making things super perfect, pulling an all nighter if I have to. I don't care, because I am really passionate about this and I want this to be so good. And then, yeah, I'll kind of have Monday as that last day to wrap up anything that I would super need to wrap up. Because I believe I have until like 5 o'clock my time to submit or something like that on that Monday. So that's my plan. So, that is everything for the stream today. I got everything done with LangServe. I'm ready to like really dive into the actual UI now for the next stream. So yeah, thanks for coming along with me, and I look forward to continuing this tomorrow.